Hey there, let's take a quick high-level overview of what's in store within each section of the course. So I've split the course into three things that I call tracks, which are really just loosely related sections. At the start, we have what we call the intro track, where we focus on the basic building blocks of extensions using only basic JavaScript and HTML and CSS. We'll be learning all about the different Chrome APIs and concepts required to build out most extension features. In the first section, we'll be learning about some basic Chrome APIs and building our very first simple timer extension. After that, we'll have our first project section, where we'll be building a simple Pomodoro timer extension, which will be nicely styled and more featured than what we did in the first section. After that, in the data fetching section, we'll be taking a look at even more Chrome APIs and using HTTP requests to fetch data from a third-party API in order to power a simple TV show search extension. The Chrome API sections are pretty short and designed to be more of reference videos to rewatch when you need a quick refresher on certain Chrome APIs. The project section is really focused on the step-by-step process of building a new extension. So it's good if you want more hands-on experience working with extensions, especially since the extensions in this project sections have more features and are nicely styled. For this intro track, feel free to skip the project if you aren't interested in building an extension in pure JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. I wanted to do a project using the most basic tools in case anyone was interested in building them using the classic approach. In the intermediate track, we start to introduce these modern web frameworks in order to power up our development speed. Lots of transferable skills will be learned in this section, and everything we've learned inside of the intro track will be used here as well. The first section will be focused on designing the Webpack build system that allows us to use TypeScript and React in our extension. This section is pretty much all Webpack, but I don't go too deep into the weeds about how Webpack actually works. We're just focused on making our build system work smoothly. After that, the weather extension project is the biggest project in the course, since it has a ton of different features and uses nearly every Chrome API in this course. We use the build system that we built in the previous section and introduce a new React component library called Material UI that simplifies our design process. This project is really good for getting the full picture of all of the moving pieces of a Chrome extension. It also does some pretty cool stuff, like injecting a UI overlay into a web page through a button on the extension pop-up. And then finally, at the end of the track, we have the ad blocker project, which is one of the most popular types of Chrome extensions out there. We go over the basic principles of ad blockers and some of the techniques that popular ad blockers use. Note that we don't build anything as complicated as something you would see in real ad blockers, but we'll be focusing on understanding the core concepts behind how they work. You don't need to complete the weather extension project to do the ad blocker project, so feel free to do these two projects in whichever order you see fit. And finally, the closing track is officially the end of the course. The Chrome Web Store publishing section covers how to publish the extensions that you build in this course to the Chrome Web Store for real users to install and use. There's also a small optional part where I talk about my personal experience with launching an extension, if you're curious about that. And finally, there's a small little bonus section going over Chrome extension themes, which are like a close relative of regular extensions. Overall, there's a ton of exciting content to cover in this course, and feel free to approach the content in whichever style works best for you. There's really no one-size-fits-all approach to learning, and doing what feels right for you is often the best approach.